Hi everyone. The Journal of Pediatrics is saying that decline in independent activity as a cause of decline in children's mental well-being. So there have been a lot of articles and research about the decline of play. Even in our school, I live right across from an elementary school here, and the playground is the most pristine looking place in the entire school. If that says something about the quality of play and the amount of play and recess our children are getting. I call them the brain breaks, because if you are not allowing yourself, the mind needs a break, the body needs a break, you just get out and do something unstructured. Even for myself, right? Like when I'm working through all of my stuff, I just need a break. I literally take my dog out for a walk. So that is how I let my mind wander, so that it can come up with better and bigger solutions for all the things that are going in my head. So it is no secret that rates of anxiety and depression among school-aged children and teens in the US are at an all-time high. Okay, so this article was released in February of 2023, and I will show you. So Peter Gray is the gentleman who has authored this paper, and I'll show you what NPR has done. It's done a good job of showcasing what this whole thing is all about. Last week I was listening to it and I was thinking about all the reasons why our children are not getting out as much as we would like them to. So let's get started. So the interviewer asked, what are the things that you have researched? And why did you even begin the process of researching the connection between mental health and independent play? So Peter Gray says, there is this fact that over the past 50 to 70 years, there has been a continuous decline in children's opportunities to play freely away from adult intervention and control. We have been evolving as parents. What does that mean, and how did society aid in that? So decline of independent play, and you're dating it back to nearly half a century. Do you have any sense of where the roots are? What has changed? That is what the interviewer is asking. And Gray says, television changed a lot of things. It brought the kids inside and isolated them somewhat. So imagine 50 years ago, the television revolution had brought everybody inside and isolated them. Imagine now, from the past 15 years, the digital revolution has isolated us even further. Even within our own house, we are isolated from one another. And what else happened a few decades ago? We began to develop the view that children develop best when they are guided and controlled by adults. Yes, it is true, but it is not true 100% of the time. So you will have to leave some pockets for their self-discovery, for getting into some kind of situations where they will have to think their way out of them. Let us see what happened in 1980s. We developed a fear of allowing children to be outdoors unguarded by an adult. What was normal parenting before 1980s was to just send the kids out and like, hey, come back only when it is dinner time. That was what was happening. But then sending kids outdoors to play, especially unsupervised, became a sign of negligent parenting. And that is how we started discussing this aspect. Oh, these kids are playing outside by themselves? What? Like these kids are walking themselves to school? What happened to the parents? This is the kind of narrative we started developing. And something that also aided is this. I'll show you this McGruff the crime dog. This was a public service announcement commercial about kidnapping. But lightning can strike them. Loved ones inside their home can harm them much more, in a much significant percentage, than being kidnapped by strangers. But what happens is when parents look at advertisements like this, it gives them this perception that the world out there is very, very bad and terrible, and they start to shelter their children much more. And this happened at the beginning of the 1980s.
That's Jenny, but that's not Jenny's dad. If she gets into that car, that may be the last time you'll see Jenny. I'm McGruff, the crime dog. See those kids? Every day in this country, 60 kids disappear. Some run away, but a lot are kidnapped by strangers, or even by people they know. So write them a gruff and teach your kids to protect themselves.
Lot of kids run away, but a lot more also get kidnapped. It is so vague. There is no percentages, there is no stats. But look at the words, right? You immediately are terrified that, oh, my child is gone. I will never see them again if I'm not keeping an eye on them all the time. What is the best way to keep an eye on them all the time? If I don't have the time to go out into the playground with them, keep them indoors while I'm cooking dinner, while I'm fixing up the house or whatever. I just need them around me at all times. Whatever they can do outside, they can do in front of me, right? Just play, just do whatever. But it is not the same. Let us see what Peter Gray says about it. What is play? The definition of play. Again, this is the single most important paragraph in this entire interview. I want you to reread it a couple of times to get the essence of what he's saying. Play is not something that parents can arrange for. Although America, since I've come to America and started raising my children, I understand that it's more like parents coordinate, oh, let's get the kids together and let's organize a play date or a sleepover. Everything is orchestrated. Play is not something that is organized by an adult. It is something that where children decide what they're going to do and control what they're going to do and solve the problems as they go about playing. That's how children develop the kinds of character traits that allow them to ultimately become independent adults. They learn that, they learn how to deal with peers without adult intervening. They also learn how to deal with minor bullying. Slowly, if you are in a fix, if sometimes you are in a do or a die situation, what do? You don't wait for somebody to come and rescue you. You just try to figure out and try to do the best that you can to get out of that situation. And that is what independent, unstructured play offers to children. So I have written about it. I just want to highlight a couple of points in a couple of my articles. The power of play and what research suggests about unstructured exploration by kids. The power of play. Play is fundamentally important for learning 21st century skills such as problem solving, collaboration, creativity, which require the executive functioning that are critical for adult success. Going forward, what do we hear these days? Teenagers are not doing a good job at adulting. Even young adults are not doing a good job at adulting. That is because they have been shielded and sheltered so much during their childhood and teen years that they don't know how to live an independent life. So, the power of play, a pediatric role in enhancing development in young children. That is what the paper is about. Okay? Play is to the 21st century what work was to industrialization. It demonstrates a way of knowing, doing, and creating value. What happens is the child did not know how to do something before starting playing, and now he knows a few things: how to negotiate, how to collaborate, how to discover something. There's so many things that the child will understand how to do. There is something else. There is another paper that discusses lesser the toys, better the play. They propose that fewer toys may allow for deeper, sophisticated play because of the opportunity to become creative with each object in the environment. You have so many toys. We are less than 3 or 4% of children in the world, but we own 40% of the toys of the world, especially in America. So imagine how much more we have than what we need. So please check out these articles and try to incorporate play not only in your children's life but yourself. The essentials of education. Learning through play, exploration, and abstraction. So again, what is abstraction? Abstraction is, you need a car. You don't go and invent a car. You use somebody else's knowledge and creativity, and you ultimately get the position of that car so that you can start driving. So similarly, if you need anything, you don't start creating or inventing that. You try to see if you can use that concept from somebody else and learn through abstraction that way. So learning through play. In our childhood, we learned everything through unregimented self-exploration and sheer force of willpower. For example, walking and talking. We had to get by because we wanted a toy which was at the corner of that room. We had to crawl, walk, we fell down, we explored, we put things into our mouth trying to figure out what they are, so many things. And again, talking. These are all essential life skills. How did we do this? By sheer exploration, by sheer discovery. So, how can we promote this kind of self exploration? Make sure that there is safety and you are from a distance supervising or setting expectations that, hey, this is so you go out to the playground and play. I expect you to be back in half an hour. If there is somebody who wants to come and engage with you, if there is somebody who is watching you from a distance that you don't know who it is, you need to raise an alarm or quickly get to a safe place. Set these expectations with your children. Make sure they understand the risks and the benefits of what they are getting into, because they learn in a high challenge, low stress environment. Okay, take out a book or a podcast and just go and sit with them if they're not willing to go out independently at the beginning. Get them to get their friends also to play with them. The point is the playgrounds have to be, I just hope that the playgrounds are run down so much that we need to start thinking of building new and better playgrounds and not just let them gather dust. Thank you so much.